different to everyone else.
He's the prophet. He is the pioneer. He is spawning in the top left-hand corner of Moondance ESL. The South Korean pro toss player representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. It is herO.
Meanwhile, over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our blue Zerg player coming out from the land of Poland. He's going to be representing Team Liquid. He is Elazer.
Oh boy, and this is a terrifying prospect to be up against the pioneer of a PvZ in current meta, Elazer. He's gonna have to bring something special and then some to the table. And special, he's not in the tournament anymore.
Aye. But he's there. I wasn't really sure where to go with that from there. But yeah, to say that Elazer needs to really do something a little bit different here is a bit of an understatement, in my opinion. I mean, like we were mentioning, herO is kind of seen as that prophet of PvZ for a reason. Before his arrival from the military, Protoss wasn't having a great time in that matchup, but herO kind of figured out how to resolve all of that, and he's been continuing to do that every single time it looked like Zerg discovered a response. herO was one step ahead, and he was able to make alterations to those builds and to those styles that he had.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to take note of, because in eras past, you know, for example, a couple of years ago in IM Katowice, when Zest went crazy with Glavedeps, for example, he kind of stuck with the same thing, whereas it feels like herO is constantly iterating and bringing new things to the table. You know, he's going for the triple Oracle into Blink Stalkers, and then double Oracle into Blink Stalkers with +1, and then he's varying it up with Charge instead of Blink, right? And trying to make the Zerg player continue to keep guessing, and he has all-in variants as well. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how he's been able to diversify his play and keep things fresh. And I do think that's why a lot of people do enjoy watching this, especially compared to what we had beforehand, which was, you know, double Stargate Void Ray into Sky Toss, which no one liked.
Yeah, very passive style there, but herO is anything if not passive. Probably one of the most decisive players out there. So again, I don't know how many times you can really reiterate this, but Elazer definitely has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, and we'll see how things go. So far, we have some pretty standard openers. It was a hatch gas pull from Elazer, was forced to take the unnatural natural here. And now we have a moment where herO has kind of control of this center area, so it's a little bit difficult to kind of reinforce and send drones towards this third base. So Elazer has to be a little bit careful with his drone control as Udeps shade on in, and they're going to be able to pick off a couple of these workers.
Yeah, the one-shot potential is absolutely huge, especially without that many Zerglings to really act as a buffer. The target firing from Elazer will significantly weaken one of these depths, but herO is not deterred at all. He is still going in for another shade despite that.
Oh, exactly, and it looks like he will cancel the shade in, and at the same time he did open up with the Stargate. We do have the Oracle coming out across the map. No Spore here at the natural. The Queens are able to force this Oracle back, but not before it does get a couple of drone kills.
Yeah, 3, not too bad. Most importantly, of course, Oracle is able to make it out of here alive with only a little bit of hull damage, and that's a third Oracle in production right now from herO.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen a triple Oracle opener, not gonna lie. It feels like double Oracle has been the standard play for quite some time. Meanwhile, the Adept shades in, does distract his opponent as the double Oracle goes ever further, getting 5 more kills.
5 more?
Oh.
I thought that was just adding on to the 3 from earlier on. Yeah, that's not a great economic start right now for Elazer.
It really isn't. Back at home, because of this map, because of Moondance, herO is free to expand and take a third base. He doesn't have to keep his Oracles at home to try and deny any kind of Ling counterattack and Ling run by to deny the third. So herO can just be even more aggressive.
With a third Oracle, yeah. And this just means that herO's going to be able to dive in even more recklessly if he wanted to. He can just tank a couple more shots from these Queens. Still not too many Spore Crawlers in place right now.
Yeah, exactly. Still no Spore at the third base. There is a Spore in the main, though, so Elazer is going to have a little bit of extra DPS here, but herO, he doesn't care. He targets down another handful of these drones, and this is adding up.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Elazer, it doesn't look like he's too far behind when it comes to the worker count, but all of these additional drones that he had to build, he would much rather have them in Lings right now.
I mean, look at the units lost. He's lost 7. He's lost a mineral line. He's lost an entire mineral line so far to Adepts and to Oracles. And something that we don't see too often is that the Protoss player herO, he's ahead or equal in that worker count, and that's something you never want to be seeing. Yeah,
very quickly going to be even further ahead, I worry, as he does have Chrono Boost available for him with all of those probes. Elazer is getting +1. It looks like he is kind of anticipating Blink play, and I can't say I blame him. Normally when you do see triple Oracles out from the Protoss player, the follow-up is in fact going to be Blink. But this time, herO says, no, I'm instead going for Chargelet Archon.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier, how herO, despite pioneering the Blinkstalker style, he has been able to vary things up. He's been able to have different adaptations instead from the Oracle openers, and this is one of them. Chargelets and Archons. He even has a Bay behind this. He can do whatever the hell he wants with this economic lead, and Elazer is none the wiser. He's playing blind right now. Bear in mind, though, looking at his vision, he actually did scout that robot, the base, sorry.
I think that might actually work out against his favor, though, in the end, because as we know, that's not what herO is prioritizing right now, even though he does have it available to him. If this Archon reveals its hand, though, then I think Elazer should be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, with these Lings, he gets a little bit more scouting information. He gets eyes on the fourth base. He's still making nothing but Lings. Lingbane isn't bad, but if this Archon count gets a little bit higher, it is going to be a little bit devastating here for Elazer. He needs more roaches than anything.
Yeah, which is why I'm definitely glad to see that he is getting a lot of Constitution. He is diversifying his unit composition here. He's still investing mostly into Ling and Bane.
I worry because I don't really know what the purpose of these Lings are. He's going to try and go for a bit of a counterattack, but he runs into Archons and Chargelets. The Lings are forced back. Again, this is lava that could have been spent on drones instead. Now we see a little bit more droning as Elazer tries to take his own fourth base. But alas, he still has to try to find a little bit of value with these Lings.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe if he can get some transferring probes, maybe if he can catch an Archon in the middle of the map. But that's not what's happening right now. herO doing such a good job of making sure that he is in the defensive position.
Yeah, exactly. This fourth base has been untouched. He's got Disruptors for Roaches. He's got Chargelet Archon for Ling Bane as well. At the same time, the triple Oracle dips on in and gets 3 more kills. There is no Spore at the natural, and all 3 Oracles from the early game are still alive.
I did not even realize that. Yeah, you're gonna have so much more utility. Well, I say utility, normally I'm anticipating things like, you know, Stasis Wards being thrown out defensively, Revelations being used, but herO doesn't even need those. He already has an Observer here. He is the aggressor in this game. Those Oracles are pure DPS machines. Right now, good split right at the end here from Elazer. herO only taking out 1 of these Queens.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse. It could have been more dead Queens, or it could have been a Purification Ever on these Roaches. So Elazer has been able to respond quite well to this, but his economy is still suffering. He's still behind in the overall drone count. He's still looking to try and tech up ever further, trying to work on these upgrades here, and herO just doesn't let him breathe. Oh my god.
He even takes out this Queen. There's still no Spore Crawler in this natural base. I was going to say, you know, things might be looking up for Elazer. He was able to get a slight delay on that base of herO, but then I realized that was herO's 5th base.
Yeah.
Which is not the economic position you ever want to be in a ZVP.
At the same time, we have a bit of a bailing run by, but it's being caught out. Oh my god, we have a Nova going off. Does connect with the Roaches.
And the Warp Prism, of course, is here to help in the juggling as well. Archons will be able to deal with most of the Lings and the Banes too. Such a good body blocking there from these Stalkers as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Elazer does have a supply lead right now, but a lot of that supply is in these Roaches, and unfortunately pushing into Disruptors is never an easy thing to do. And herO, he's just not stopping with that tech. He's taking to the skies.
Yeah, might as well. He knows he's going to be safe and secure on 5 bases. That's you know, 1 more base that I think is necessary for this if you're herO, so yeah, he can definitely afford it.
Yeah, there we go. Carriers have arrived. 3 carrier production at a time is absolutely disgusting, especially because Elazer, he's more than a step behind at this point. He has no idea what's happening. He has almost 0 anti-air.
He's got queens.
Oh man, I thought I was on some therapy. He's got some queen. He's fine, puppy. Don't worry about it. Queens, they're the best anti-air that Zerg have. I mean, true. Queens and spores. But alas, right now, Elazer has to try to end the game now before the Sky Toss gets too underway.
And you know what? He is fighting in a decent position. He's he's fighting outside of shield battery range here for herO. He's splitting pretty well against the Purification Novas, but I fear that herO just has too much damage. Output here. He even has the cannons. He is losing a lot of probes, don't get us wrong. But the tech and just the sheer damage output is far in herO's favor. Elazer has a quantity, but herO has a quality.
That's the problem, right? It's like herO, he lost 20 probes. The Baneling run-bys were well worth it. They connected here at that 5th base. But hero's refining his army with Sky Toss, and Elazer is still making nothing but roaches. He doesn't have eyes on the main base. He doesn't know about this tech switch.
Not at all. He's getting +1 range, which is going to help out with his roaches. But again, the roaches aren't going to do too much here. Yeah,
looking at the units tab here, we have 6 queens. That is enough to inject. That's enough to spread a little bit of creep, and there we go. 5 queens are started immediately. Elazer knows he needs as much anti-air as possible, and queens are the only answer he has.
Good cancel on that Purification Nova, but like you said, like these 6 queens aren't gonna cut it. The carriers are fighting on their own, pretty much.
Yeah, 3 carriers, they're all you need. They overwhelm these queens. Elazer is forced to go for a massive counterattack. He has to do something with his ground army.
But herO, again, is just not letting him do anything right now. Best case scenario, he trades army for army, and that's absolutely what herO wants right now.
Yeah, exactly. We just see the Ling Roach trying to dive on top of these disruptors. They do get 1 disruptor, don't get us wrong. But there's Archons and Chargers behind that. The Roaches cannot break on through. GG gets called, and herO takes the first game.
Very decisively as well. It never felt like he was out of control, or it never felt like Elazer was close to getting control of that game. herO's in the driver's seat, start to finish.
Yeah, like there was that one moment where herO did lose a lot of probes, and it's like, oh, okay, this is actually really great. Unfortunately, after Elazer took that like economic lead, he again didn't know about the Stargates, he didn't know about the Fleet Beacon, he didn't know that that would have been the moment to throw down a Spire, you know, to start getting ready for anti-air and to try and tech up himself. Because he didn't know that, he just kept making more roaches, more Lings.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of what herO is best at. You were mentioning he just makes sure that his opponents keep having to second guess themselves. And sure, the scouting could have been better there from Elazer, but I'm sure herO would have been on top of denying overlords from getting into his base, say, for example, each and every time, he made sure he had a solid wall in his natural, so those Ling run-bys were never able to get in and get a full scout of the tech that herO was going for.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, that changes here.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, it's one of those things where after game number 1, you know, both players, they kind of test each other, and now Elazer, he's more aware, like, okay, I can't tunnel vision too much. My opponents, if they're ahead, they are willing to tech up into Sky Toss. I need to be a little bit more aware of this, and I'm sure in the following games, Elazer will be more on top of it.
Yeah. Just need to warm up a bit, you know?
Yeah.
It is his... Wait. No, I think he played already, Wait, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he played already in the round 24.
Oh,
but, you know, that was a bit of a break before herO came in, so, you know, let's warm up a little bit. And speaking of breaks, we have no breaks whatsoever here as we jump immediately into game number 2, where in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we, of course, have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. He is herO.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the Polish Zerg player himself representing Team Liquid. It is Elazer.
Now we are moving into Cosmic Sapphire for game number 2. Traditionally, or conventionally understood to be the more Protoss favorite map, but I feel like as the older this map gets, Zerg players are figuring out a few things that they can, really use to their advantage here.
Yeah, it's quite a large map. It's quite open as well. Depending on your play style, you can take advantage of certain things when it comes to trying to deny some of these fringe bases, like your 5th base or maybe even a 4th base if you're able to clean up these rocks and open up these different attack paths. So yeah, there are definitely options here for Zerg. When it comes to Protoss, they can have an easier time expanding and being, or like kind of turtling on 4 bases. We have seen some Protoss players try and go into that older Skytoss style on this map. I don't think that herO is that kind of player. I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going Skytoss, it's for Phoenixes usually.
Yeah, that does happen. He has opened in that way in the past. Oh boy, but yeah, we'll see how this series transpires. Again, that was just game number 1 between our 2 players. We have plenty of games ahead of us.
Yeah, it's a best of 5. We have at least 2 more to go, and hopefully 4 more. As we would like to, get the most out of this match.
I wanna believe, Bobby. I wanna believe. And for the time being, pretty standard opener. Hatchgas pool from Elazer. I doubt we're ever gonna be seeing something like a 12 pool opener from him. It's herO that we need to keep our eyes on, and this is why he's the one dictating the pace of the game, not going for a Stargate.
Yeah, very, very early Twilight Council from him. I say very early for this meta, when we're so used to seeing Stargate first and Oracles, but Twilight Council openings are still something that you can absolutely get away with. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going for Glaives, but usually when a Protoss player opens up with the Twilight Council in a PvZ, it is to get Glaives.
Yeah, it usually is. Here we go. We have 2 more gates being thrown down. We have 3 gates in total. Very uncommitted as Glaives does start up. He did call it. Is kind of what we expect to be seeing here. We'll see how committed this will be depending on how many gates are thrown down, as there is that 4th gateway.
Yeah, 4 gates. That's committed enough that you need to do damage, but not so committed that you need to cripple your opponent with your opening yet.
Yeah, exactly. We can transition out of this. We can expand and take a 3rd base out of this as well. herO just has to be a little bit careful with his shades. He cannot overextend. He cannot overcommit, because if he loses too many of his adepts, then he won't really have much left at home to defend against a counterattack.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Elazer is going to be hoping for here, going a little bit more Zerg heavy when it comes to his army. He wants to just drone up as much as possible here in the early game, getting a very nice delay on the 3rd base here of herO.
Oh, beautifully timed. He takes down that probe. He even gets a kill on one of those adepts. Doesn't get us around on the 2nd adept though. herO will eventually expand and take a 3rd base. Ooh, and in a couple of moments, Elazer is going to recognize, hold on, I may have not scouted your main base, but where is your Oracle? You didn't open Stargate, did you?
Yeah, that's a few too many adepts for it to be an Oracle opening, so Elazer should have a bit of a tell of what's going on here. I like this. He's immediately producing a bunch of Lings, hoping to get us around on top of these shaded adepts.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have a safety Roach Warren though, so he's only going to be relying on Lings and Queens to defend. But again, because it's only 4 gates, he's not going to be punished for it. If we had 6 to 8 gates, then there would be a bit of a punish. But I mean, he saw the 3rd base, so he knows that he should be able to deal with this if he's able to keep up with the adepts.
Yeah, I have a feeling herO himself is going to be a bit hesitant to commit to Shades as well. He commits to this one, and he should be able to, shave off a couple of Lings, maybe get the Queen.
Oh, exactly, as the adepts, they do shade on out of there. We do have that Roach Warren on the way. It's a little bit late, not going to lie, so I'm a little bit concerned about that fact. We'll see if Elazer can buy enough time to finish out that Roach Warren and get Roaches out, as he's going to be losing some Queens. Oh, or is he?
Yeah, great cancel on the shade here from herO, drawing out just about every single Ling as he focuses fire on these Queens instead. herO, is he going to commit? He does commit.
Oh my god, yeah, he's been doing a really great job at reinforcing and shading in and just meeting up with the rest of his army. As a result, this adept count is honestly looking quite terrifying. Has to be careful though, because we see a massive Ling counterattack hitting the 3rd base of herO.
Yeah, I have a feeling Elazer himself couldn't believe that there weren't defenses over there, so now we are having a little bit of a worker trade. herO forced to warp in back at home when he would much rather have these adepts across the map. Finally going to be committing to try to deal some drone damage, but these adepts are going to be cleaned up. Now the game is going to slow down a bit.
Yeah, so now we have to kind of take stock at what just happened here. herO just lost 15 adepts to 64 lings. Even though herO didn't really get any economic damage done, he inadvertently got economic damage done by forcing Elazer to make so many lings, and now as a result, look at that worker count.
Yeah. You don't have to kill the drones if you can just make sure your opponent never makes them.
Yeah, you don't have to kill the drones if they're already dead.
Yeah. We're never alive.
They are smooch, puppy. Aye. As the adepts, they return, they come back with a vengeance, going to try and force a cancel on the 4th base, which they do. They come into a shade as well. Roaches were unable to keep up, and now economic damage is being done.
Yeah, or even more economic damage. You could say Elazer are having a really tough time diving between these bases. Great use of SimCity here from herO. Just going to minimize any surface area these lings are going to get. The roaches do finally catch up, and will be clearing out these depths, but not before 5 more drones get taken out, and once again, just even more lings are forced to be produced.
Yeah, exactly, and now hero's transitioning. We have a robo already done. Immortal production has commenced. We have a robotics bay as well for those disruptors. Any kind of roach counterattack at this point isn't going to be able to do enough damage, and herO still isn't done with the adepts. He's got another small force here towards the bottom left-hand corner of the map.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a window here that Elazer could try to take advantage of before herO finishes up his Robo Bay, before he gets all of his disruptors and whatnot out, but we're on Cosmic Sapphire, which has a very, very long rush distance. Elazer doesn't have the Lowry Constitution yet, and again, herO just doing such a good job of small forces of adepts slowing down the rumbys of Elazer. He could have taken out this Nexus if not for those couple of adepts.
Yeah, that was so close actually. Elazer was trying his hardest there to focus down that base, but no, herO, he holds onto it. That means more lings down the drain for Elazer. Second robo on the way for double disruptor production. herO does have that map control due to all of these adepts, and Elazer, mate, he's got to do something. He takes the gold.
You love to see it. That's one way of catching back up in this game economically. Elazer should be done droning for the time being. 75 workers is not a bad position to be in when you're going into the mid to late game. Just needs to make sure he can main art his workers over to mine from that gold.
Yeah, I just worry, like, because of how this game state, because of everything that happened in the early game, Elazer, he just doesn't really have a lot of tech right now. As we see a forced cancel, we have a layer, sure, but we have a melee nest. We don't have any upgrades to work with either, +1 melee or +1 range, and the Zealots have spotted the gold.
Yeah, the Hail Mary will not come into play here, or shouldn't come into play here for Elazer. hero's #1 priority right now is to take out that gold base, but honestly, I feel like herO can just multitask and do whatever he wants right now. That's how far ahead he is when it comes to the tech. Great piles on top of these adepts. Yeah. So that's one fewer thing for Elazer to worry about.
Elazer, he's got a little bit of momentum here. He shuts down all these adepts. He was able to shut down these zealots on the bottom left-hand corner as well. herO, there is a moment where he's quite vulnerable right now. It's all going to come down to these Purification Novas.
Yeah, sometimes it only takes one, and you know what? herO, he's got 3 available for him.
Oh, exactly. The first one just going to zone away the army, and this is quite important because we have shield batteries on the way, cannons as well. herO, he's buying time for some additional gateway warp-ins, and even for more disruptors.
Yeah, I mean, herO doesn't need to, be active on the map right now. He just needs to make sure he doesn't take economic damage, and like you said, just buy himself some time to get more gateway units out, a bit more of a buffer here for his disruptors, and get more splash damage as well.
Oh my god, meanwhile, Banelings are waddling on in, coming in from behind, actually. It looks like they're getting caught by the disruptors. Oh.
The move command! Ah, feels bad, man, if you are Elazer right now. He caught those disruptors, but weren't quite able to kill them because those Banelings were on move command for a little bit too long. There is a lot of momentum going Elazer's way right now, but I'm not entirely convinced he can do it. I mean, the shield batteries, they can take it out, but there's a lot of stalkers in the backline for herO.
The Lings, they just completely clean up every single one of these disruptors. Elazer trading quite well here, but as you were saying, the Blink Stalkers are just a little bit too much, and herO, despite all of those Banelings, his worker count is still healthy. They barely survived.
Yeah, I will say that one thing Elazer has going for him, he was able to reset that disrupt account. So herO, well, I was going to say herO shouldn't have much of an avenue to counterattack, but he goes for it anyway.
Oh, he goes for it anyway. He does blink on forward. He does reset the Ravagers here, does save his Warp Prism in the process. Going to be forced to blink on back. His Disruptors are reinforcing.
And they are landing a couple of Purification Novas. The Warp Prism finally gets into a defensible position. So herO is able to warp in more and more Zealots. Finally, that Nexus is dealt with. herO taking quite a number of probe kills as well, or probe damage as well.
Yeah, exactly. Does get the base, does get 12 probes in total. Meanwhile, herO is committed. He has to try and break on through, but Banelings are being morphed in defensively here. The Roach is going for a bit of a wraparound, but the Nova goes up!
Does go off, and it will be able to take out just about every single one of those Banelings without the Banelings doing any damage. Zealots are coming in to reinforce and act as more of a buffer here for the Disruptors. Things are getting really scrappy here in the middle of the map, but I fear that herO does have enough momentum behind him to keep this push going.
Yeah, the Disruptor with the Purification Novas were just a little bit too good here. The charge lots, the reinforcements, the gateway units, it is too much, and Elazer, he just cannot hold on.
It's getting pretty close, but those Purification Novas are the final nail in the coffin here. GG, herO finds himself on match point just like that.
GG. But you know what? Elazer, he was fighting back here in this game, recovering after the Glaive Adept opener. And he wasn't doing too badly there. I did think that maybe he could have broken herO at his fourth base, if you recall. That was a pretty close hold.
Yeah. It was a very, very close hold. herO definitely had to rely a little bit on those cannons that were in the back line. Elazer did a very good job of taking out the shield batteries before they could really come into play, but I feel that at that point herO was just ahead for long enough that he had the production he needed, he had the gateways he needed to just warp in Stalker after Stalker after Stalker and Immortal after Immortal after Disruptor.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's pretty insane that even though the Disruptor count was reset, like, herO, just give this man 2-3 Disruptors. Like, he can make some magic happen. Like, he still makes them count anyway. That's just the power of herO, the power of his control.
Yeah, it only takes one. herO got two.
Yeah. Oh god, GG, well played. We are now going to be moving on into game number 3. And one of our players is one game away from moving on to the next round.
Yeah, hopefully we get more of a series out of this, but we shall see as we load into Data C, where in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner on match point, we have the Red Protoss player flying down from the land of Korea, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. He is herO.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have the Polish Zerg player himself representing Team Liquid. Down 0-2, up against the wall. He needs to come back here and now. It is Elazer.
I think I forgot to mention the most important of herO's titles there in the intro. Cabin mate of Miomaika.
Yeah, if you're on Twitter, if you're on social media, then yes, we can confirm that they did sleep together. This is public knowledge.
Miomaika's words, yeah, in Mio's words.
Oh my god, but I kind of like that, you know, it's kind of like the hero meeting the villain in a way, in a certain aspect, because yeah, Miomaika just has such a different approach to ZVP. I wouldn't be surprised if they did kind of converse and talk about the matchup in the end, and I'm sure that's all the better for herO.
Yeah, I wonder if that is something that made herO question his playstyle a little bit, or if it just reinforced in his head, yeah, no, doing what I'm doing is, you know, just working out in PvZ.
Yeah, like that's the great thing about these offline events is that all these players come from all over the world and they're able to not just compete but also hang out, talk about the game that they all love, the game that they all compete in, and be a little bit more social. You know, everyone knows that StarCraft can sometimes be a lonely game because it is 1v1. So yeah, you know, if you are out there and if you're a part of the Atlanta event, you know, don't be shy. You know, go out there, meet up with some people. I know there are a lot of StarCraft meetups going on right now with Pig and with Nish, StarCraft Observer, and plenty of other community members.
Yeah. I guess that is a bit of a consolation of getting knocked out in the playoff round. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. Well, eventually it's going to come to that, but you know, hopefully it'll be a while before it comes to that for either of these players.
Yeah, there's a bit of a dichotomy because tell that to Migs. Vindicta, after getting knocked out, he's like, I just want to go home and ladder. Okay, I just want to grind. I just want to get in shape for the next event. So I know that there are, like, you know, two sides of that same coin on how to approach some of these offline events once you do get knocked out. But for the time being, none of these players are knocked out. We are still here in game number 3, and herO going back to what he does best, Stargate.
How many oracles this time? herO. We'll count them slowly but surely. In the meantime, herO is doing a really good job of just keeping Elazer back and denying a scout from any of these Zerglings. Keeping him on his toes as he takes some map control.
Yeah, the Adepts, you know, they're just flirting here with the Queens. Gonna be able to take out some of these. Ooh, they get both active tumors, actually. Ay.
Huge.
Already great damage being done. Meanwhile, they're going to join forces with this one Oracle. We have a second one behind this. I imagine it's only going to be a double Oracle opener, but we shall see what herO wants as he gets another tumor.
Yeah, the Oracle taking a lot of damage, but not enough to actually die. That Oracle can just regen its energy, regen its shields, and then meet up with the second and the third Oracle eventually.
I'm loving this. So when herO went triple Oracle on Moondance, it made plenty of sense just because of the map layout and because how easy it is to expand on 3 bases. But here, this is a little bit riskier. We can see why. The Lings show up here at the 3rd base. They're going to be able to get some damage done, and at the moment, there is no Oracle to defend.
Yeah, it's popping out pretty soon, though, and that's exactly why herO does have a rally towards that 3rd base, but there's not a lot of energy on a fresh Oracle.
Looks like the pylon will be saved. Second Oracle joins the forces here with the 3rd. Meanwhile, the Adepts shade into the main base just to get a scat up and also pick up a couple more drones.
Yeah, we'll confirm that Elazer is droning up. He does want to play this out in a macro-oriented fashion, and just like that, will force a couple more drones out of him instead of Zerglings. Stasis Ward doesn't get too many drones, but at this point, if you're herO, again, you take what you can get.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the units lost here, 7 drones have gone down in total for basically 2 Adepts, and now hero's moving. Oh, he's not stopping! He's making a 4th Oracle!
Yo. And there's Charge, just to support whatever he needs on the ground. 3 more gateways are being thrown down for 4 in total. 4-gate Charge with Oracle support. One of the absolute deadliest, cheeses you can really throw out in a PvZ. Very, very potent damage, but it can be countered if Elazer scouts this in time.
Yeah, Elazer, he needs to get eyes on this immediately. We do see one Ling trying to get on in, but the Ling does get denied. The Oracles are joining forces in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. Adepts are all over the place as well, just keeping Elazer back at home, keeping him blind.
The last thing Elazer wants to do right now is to just, you know, fully commit to those Lings. What he would really need right now is a Bailing Nest. But again, he has no reason to suspect that Charge is coming his way. He has no reason to suspect that there are even more Oracles coming his way.
Oh my god, mate. Not like this, Poppy. Not like this. I was talking with Asher about this when we were casting Astrea, how, like, he does this as well. Like, every now and then, he just knows that if you really wanted to as Protoss, just keep making Oracles.
Yeah.
Why not, Poppy? Why not?
There's nothing stopping you legally.
There's nothing stopping you, mate. As Charge is about to finish up, we're going for a mass push here with Oracles and Chargeless. What do we have to defend? Looking at the unit tab, we've got 9 Queens and 41 Lings. 8 Queens.
Yeah, that's 8 Queens. That's gonna be pretty easy for these Oracles to mow down. He loses one, but it's not the biggest of deals. The lane count is getting shaved off purely by Zealots, and now the Oracles are here just to clean things off. The high energy Queens are being targeted down, and I think this is how it's going to end here for Elazer.
This is brutal. This is devastating. This is disgusting. It's everything it could ever be here for Protoss, as every single queen has fallen. The fourth base has been broken as well. Charger's going to be able to clean this up. Behind this, herO is taking his own fourth, by the way. Looks like these Ling reinforcements are going to be able to force herO back, though. The Oracles, they do turn around to make sure that his fourth doesn't get denied.
Yeah, and on top of that, a lot of the Oracles are out of energy. This recall is forced. So Elazer able to turn this around, and like that, he's fully scouted. He knows exactly what herO is going for and what the, logical transition out of this would be, that being Archons. So he is instead transitioning to Roaches.
Yeah, I mean, Elazer, he gets a little bit of room to breathe here. He's catching up in the drone count. He was behind, bear that in mind. He's trying to resaturate all of these bases and get into Roaches. Unfortunately, he just wasn't really ready for this. He's got plots on melee on the way, which is great for all these Lings, but again, they're going to struggle against the charge lot Archon that herO is transitioning into.
Yeah, we'll see if Elazer is going to be able to buy himself enough time here. Because the +2 Banelings can absolutely pay off for him. Just clean out the Zealots that are going to be in the front, and then that'll allow his Roaches to really target down the Archons. But we'll see. It's a lot easier said than done here if you're Elazer.
It really is, and we'll see if he can get there, as herO's not giving him any time. He's already got his first wave of Archons. herO's army is spread out throughout the map, though. He has to consolidate his forces if he really wants to go for the one-kill move, as that Oracle count is still insanely high. He's still got 7 Oracles.
Yeah, I think he resumed production a while ago just to make sure he does stay at that lucky number 7. Once again, just great target firing, as we have come to expect from herO. Biles are decent. The Banelings are about to pop, and they will delete some of the Zealots, but not all of them. And it looks like there are enough of them still alive here for herO to keep this going. The Archon's looking super exposed. So exposed!
Yeah, the Archon is exposed. It looks like the Archon is going to be going down here. A couple of additional gateway units are going to hit this 4th base. Sorry, this 5th base even of Elazer, and Elazer, he holds.
Yeah, that's Elazer really using this map to his advantage, taking advantage of these choke points and whatnot. herO, I think, has finally realized that the reason why he's not able to reinforce so quickly is because he doesn't have that Warp Prism available for him just yet. Should be getting it soon, though, and we'll see if that's enough for him to really secure a victory here.
And I really worry, as this space is quite exposed. The Banelings were the key factor in Elazer holding earlier, but this hatchery gets completely surrounded by these Zealots, and it does go down.
Not a great economic position to be in, both in terms of mining and in terms of production, but Elazer trades tit for tat here and will be able to clean out so many probes of herO. It's going to be a while before herO can really, be stable enough to keep this push going.
Yeah, exactly. The royal buys are real here. Elazer now taking a worker advantage. Oh, even catching a free Archon.
Nicely done. And there's not a whole lot when it comes to defenses here from herO. The Oracles are very much out of energy. He still has plenty of gateways, so he can still reinforce quickly if need be, but that's a lot of Lings and Roaches knocking down his door.
Yeah, it really is. The overcharge is popped as well. Looks like the Oracles are forced to turn around to defend against the Roach Ling. This is just a really awkward game because both players have been expanding towards each other here. So it just forces just so much action and so many engagements early on because they're basically touching here when it comes to their fresh bases.
Yeah, the tips of each bases are
I don't want to say it.
just about meeting up here. The North is so neglected right now. I'm looking at the mini-map.
Exactly. Feels bad, man, as once again we get another Zealot round back here. Ooh, Elazer, his 5th gonna get denied for a 2nd time.
Man, every time it looks like Elazer is... That was a kill, not a cancel. The last thing you want to happen to you right now when you're struggling to get a 5th base. Every time it looks like Elazer is trading evenly against herO, herO suddenly pulls up a number of Zealots to just attack him when he's most vulnerable.
Yeah,
or where he's most vulnerable.
Well, the reason for this is because the queens, they just keep dying. They keep getting picked off one after the other. As a result, we don't really have any creep here. Like, it has all been receded. There's no vision in the middle of the map for Elazer. Once again, speaking of, the queen count gets reset.
Just like so, these banelings not quite going to be able to connect with what they need to. No! Another scenario where they could have connected with the disruptors, but not quite there. Here we're going to continue to keep this push going. I'm surprised he didn't go for a Warp Prism this time, but he is prioritizing his disruptors. He just wants to get as much damage out as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't need to reinforce this yet.
Yeah, the Bailey's on move command. They just wanted some economic damage done. Speaking of, we do see a massive Roach counterattack, but we have a recall as well as herO takes down this fresh base.
Yeah, the entire army of herO is getting recalled, but oh! The disruptors are getting targeted down, but unfortunately for Elazer, there were just a few too many of them to really take out. That's pretty much the entire army of Elazer cleaned up, and he's struggling so much remax here. 12 lings are on the way. That's just about all he can afford.
Yeah, exactly. Lings are on the way. He's forced to expand towards the northern portion of the map, but the oracles are gonna make short work of that base, especially with this count. There's no spore here. Oh no, the drones, the drones!
They're lining up! Once again, no anti-air here to defend. I mean, Elazer has a handful of queens, and that's about it. He sent out all of these banelings to try to deal some counter-attacking damage, but herO was already prepared to deal with that. These laser beams from the oracles make short work of the spores, the drones, the everything pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? Elazer's not going to take this lying down. He does go for a little bit of a ling run by here on hold position. Is going to be able to get a probe. Okay, a handful of probes do go down as we do have another bailing run by here at the triangular third base. Elazer's trying to force herO to stay at home, but the problem is that as time goes on, herO just has a better economy. He has a better army. He has been able to take up. Will lose an immortal, but look at that supply.
Yeah, I feel that the immortals are the unit that herO wants to prioritize the least right now. Gets a decent purification over there, and yeah, these queens are not long for this world, especially with this vast amount of blink stalkers.
Yeah, you don't want to be any of these queens. GG gets called, and herO takes game number 3 and the series 3-0.